It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, folks, there's a lot of concern about the new county council, where we're going. Was it a good move, folks? Was this charter the thing that Luzerne County people really wanted? Well, today I got the main man who was the high vote getter. Very proud of him. Rick Morelli was the high vote getter on the council. A straight shooter. As you know, he's the host of our Inside Scoop. But Rick is here today to talk about the county council. First of all, Rick, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
Does that mean I get to go on your show too sometime?
No.
Oh, okay. Darn it. I'm trying to push to get. You know that I was not for, the county council, the charter. I thought that, good people make good government. However, we have the county council now. Yep. And from what I understand, 11 great people. Okay, people who are dedicated, and this is good to know because they mean well. Okay, yep. So let's talk about how is it working?
It's working well. As anyone expect, when you take a 200-year-old government and transforming it into a new government, you're going to have some bumps in the road. But it's going very well. Again, as you mentioned, we have 11 good people throughout the county who were elected. The public would be very proud of the work that they would see us, that they are seeing us doing. I mean, we've been attending 2 to 3 meetings a week. We've had a meeting this week that lasted over 5 hours long dealing with the budget, which we'll talk about. So we're working very hard in moving this government forward. We're in the process of hiring a manager, which we'll talk about. So we're doing everything we can. And again, as I stated many times, don't expect major changes earlier on. But I do believe that this new government will be better than what we've had before.
You're still staying with that, right?
Oh, no question about it. Again, as you know, I was one of the people who helped write the new charter, and although I never agreed with everything in there, and there's no question there's flaws in it, and there's some holes, it's better. And again, the people voted for this. I'll be the first to tell you, they didn't vote for this because of what we wrote in the charter. They voted for this charter because of all the scandals, the corruption that took place in the county, obviously the finances, the mismanagement of the finances. And again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the current commissioners who just left. I think they did a great job. But my argument always was it was the system that was broke. And now that I'm even more involved here and we're dealing in this budget, I'm even more confident that this is going to work because as we're talking about this budget, we're coming up with new ideas of ways to save money, generate more revenue. So I'm very optimistic that we will see changes. Again, going back to the old government, I think it just got stagnant. It was the same old thing. They borrowed money for the most part to pay for jobs. And I do think it's going to be better, but we have to be patient.
Well, with that being said, you have 11 members, okay, and the manager that you're going to hire is hired by the 11 members. Yeah. The electorate really has nothing to say about the manager, okay? Right. I mean, the only way we can, if we're upset with the manager, we have to do it through the board. Correct. We have to say, look, we're not going to support you. And how often is it? Is it a 4-year term?
The council's 4-year, yes.
All right. So after 4 years, you guys are up for election.
Well, every 2 years, 6 and 5. So every 2 years, the public will have the ability to vote for council.
Okay,
so it'll change.
So that would be the opportunity for the public to say we're really not happy with if we get that. Before we get to the county manager and what the credentials and why that is so important, because once again, we have to trust the board to get the right manager, okay? And because that manager is going to have a lot of power, okay? A lot of power. What are some of the obstacles you're seeing now?
Well, some of the obstacles are just moving forward with the government. I mean, right now the biggest obstacle is the budget. The commissioners passed a budget with no tax increases, which I support no tax increases, but we have 45 days to modify this budget if we want, and that's our first priority. And so we're right now working with the interim manager, Tom Perbola, who's a great guy, a very smart individual who understands numbers, but we don't have a lot of time to go through this $120 million budget line by line, so that's the biggest challenge right now. Again, we're in the process of trying to finalizing hiring the manager to run the county. But then also a part of that is just setting up the agenda, how we're going to be structured. I mean, we're starting from scratch. Again, it's not like when you jump on city council or school board, the wheels are in motion. We are finding our ways. Yes. And again, I think that the people who've been coming to our meetings and have been coming to our work sessions are very proud of the work that we're doing. They could feel comfortable that we're actually out there working. We may not agree on everything, but the meetings have been very professional. And a lot of people say, well, geez, how are 11 people going to get along when 3 people? And what people have to understand, I say this, and this is a good thing, we are a weak council. And what I mean by that is that we only hire 2 people in the county, the manager and the clerk of the county council. So when we wrote this charter, we've taken the politics out of putting in the hiring and firing in the hands of the political people who run for offices. So our job is to not micromanage the county, not tell the manager how to run the county, not tell the individuals who to hire and fire, but to be the overseers, to be the board of directors, to make sure things go right. And again, it goes back to your point with the manager. If the manager's not doing his or her job, it's our job then to get rid of them. And that's where our accountability is.
Now, do you mean to tell me? Okay, now you've been around a long time,
Yep.
Rick. 11 members, all right? I mean, there has to be, some of the members are going to come to the board and say, well, look, I think Sam Lesante would make a good person for this and make the recommendation, and I'm going to lobby for Sam Lesante. I'm going to get Rick, I'm going to get Berminski, I'm going to get Urban, his son, and say, you know, we want Sam Lesante to do this, and then you go to the manager and say, look, we want you to put him on the arena board, which I want to be on, incidentally.
Well, again, there's 2 different things. There's the authorities, boards, and commissions, which we'll talk about, which is, it is the hiring of the council. But the personnel in the county is by the manager, and it is dictated in the charter that council cannot do that. We are in the process of putting an ethics code in place that if you're caught going to the manager, if you're caught going there, you will be fined. So we've put teeth into this to make sure that you don't do that. And so if you're going to try that, and I am not naive, and I've already heard rumors of people lobbying. But if you're caught and it's going to be brought to the table, you're going to be brought on the table. So you better have 6 or 7 people that don't snitch on you, because if it gets out, you're in trouble.
And I'm glad to hear that, because you really have to put a lot of faith in the manager, okay? Now, this is the other thing. This manager is going to have a lot of authority, okay? And he's going to spend a lot of money, all right? $121 million budget, $120 million budget. Who right now will be the county manager? We hear Robert Lawton. Is this gentleman going to be the county manager?
Well, I don't think there's any secret out there that he's our front runner. We finally released the names, which I'm proud to say I was in the forefront of forcing the council to do the right thing. Let me take a step back before we talk to about Mr. Lawton and who that manager may be. We interviewed 72. We had 72 applicants. We funneled it down to 15. A lot of people are asking me, how come we don't get anyone local? You should be proud of the fact that we didn't go based off of where you live, but based off of qualifications and experience. Of the top 10 candidates, only 1 person was local. Out of the 72, we may have had only 7 or 8 people locally who applied. When we finally released the 5 finalists, all 5 of those individuals were all throughout the country. No one was local. And again, if you take a look at their qualifications between Mr. Lawton, Mr. Besher, all the other individuals who were our finalists, these individuals have over 20-some years of experience of running municipalities, budgets similar to ours, dealing with day-to-day issues as what we're dealing with. So the public should feel confident that we have done a phenomenal job with recruiting. The benefit of having a hired manager is its qualifications. You're right, the people can't vote as to these people, but we've taken out the politics. And hopefully when you put someone in who has experience of running municipalities, dealing with the judicial systems, dealing with unions, dealing with those important problems, that'll pay off.
Well, you had a certain lot of experience in the school district, being the president of the school board, so you know all of that. Who set the job description?
For the it's set in stone in the charter. You know, you have to have a 4-year college degree. You have to have 5 years of relevant experience. So right there alone, you have to have minimum qualifications to meet this. And then again, we put together most of the important things that we feel are important in this dealing with the county day-to-day issues.
Folks, I'm talking to Rick Morelli, as you all know from the host of Inside Scoop. I'm pushing to get on that show, but he won't be getting on the show. Anyway, the county council, folks, very important. It's going to affect your lives. There's a lot to it. The authority boards, the commissions, and the 11 members working together. How involved is this going to be? And hopefully it will be a good thing for our county. We'll be back right after this with Rick Morelli. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. 24/7 SSPTV.com. Have you seen our new website? It's fantastic, folks. Over 100,000 hits. Breaking news all the time. Just go to our website. And also any show that we have, including Sam Lesante Show. My guest is Rick Morelli, who is the host of Inside Scoop. Not as popular as the Sam Lesante Show, but we let him get by with it. Tonic and Mountain Pure Spring Water, folks. This is the official water of SSP TV. Starbucks uses this water. If they don't have this water, where you buy your water, ask for it. JoJo's on the Beltway, also Airport Beltway, sells the water. And my good buddy Dan Basella, folks. Monavie, I'm taking it every morning. 2 shots along with my PRN omega-3s. This is great stuff. Rick Morelli, as you know, is the on the county council. He was the high vote getter in Luzerne County. And why aren't you the chairman? You know, you became high vote getter, and you're not even the chairman. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. You know, there's definitely some clicks, but that's okay. You know,
well,
it's only a title.
We're not going to get into that, you know, click stuff. Okay.
No, it's not. Actually, it's a good it's a good council. Again, and one thing I've learned is that, you know, that's only a title. One thing they can't take away is your voice, and as long as you use that and ask questions, you have as much power.
Well, Rick, knowing you, okay, all kidding aside, you know, I spoke to some people who are involved in the county, and they have the greatest respect for you. They tell me that you are honest, which there's no question about it. You've always been that way as far as I know. You compromise. You're not there with any personal agenda, and you and I have had a lot of conversations about that, okay? Mm-hmm. But you have a budget, mm-hmm. okay, of $120 million. How are you guys going to address that?
Well, we're addressing it now. Again, the other night we had over a 5-hour meeting with all the department heads throughout the county. And, you know, our challenge is we only have 45 days, less than 45 days to address this. And we're working with Tom Perbola. And, you know, we're putting out some options. And I've made it very clear I am not supporting any tax increase of any kind. There are some people who are trying to put it together, maybe a 2% tax increase. They're talking about maybe taking away the homestead. I'm not in favor of all that. As someone who wrote this charter, I'm a firm believer that the public expects a more efficient, leaner government, and that's what we need to put in place. There will be cuts, and I hate to say that because you hate to see anyone lose their job, but unfortunately we have to start living within our means, and that's going to be part of what we have to put in place are going to be some layoffs. And again, I'm in the opinion that if we could implement some what I call bridges, short-term solutions, which we do have, I'm optimistic that there are ways to save money down the road. Not only save money, but generate more revenue. So going back to this new government, it's going to force the hands of some of these department heads in the county that were just stagnant for years and are now going to be forced to have to make some tough decisions. And that's the good thing about this government, and that's why I'm optimistic about it.
All right, with that being said, is Robert Lawton going to be your county manager?
Well, let's put it this way. I think it's fair to say that he'll be the county manager. It was made public by the council that he was our lead front runner. I don't know officially that we've been negotiating strongly with anybody else, and he is somebody I'll be supporting. And I'll just say this about the gentleman. You know, we've interviewed him a number of times. He is a clear gentleman, a pure gentleman. He has a lot of experience running counties, municipalities larger than us. He is the type of guy that I think people will have confidence with. So I'm hoping that the rest of council will continue to support him. I would bet that they would. Come Tuesday of next week is when we will be voting on that, and hopefully we'll be introducing our next manager to Luzerne County.
What's the job pay?
Well, in the charter, it ranges anywhere from approximately $90,000 to $160,000. I'm not at any ability to give out the salary, but I will say that it's very
public knowledge though when you hire him?
You will. It will be. And again, because I haven't been specifically involved with negotiations.
So it's 90 to 160.
It's 90 to 160, but what I will say, it's going to be fair, and it's not going to be at the high end of the scale. Mm-hmm. So
well, you get what you pay for too.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's when you look at some of the municipal officers or people we have in our county, even though people think they're getting a lot of money, when you look at like the superintendent in the school district, when you look at that, it's et cetera. Yep. Now, along with this, okay, so we have the county manager who will have a lot of power, but there are a lot of authority boards, mm-hmm. okay, and commissions, okay. Yep. So who puts the people on those boards?
Well, this is something we introduced in the charter, and something, again, I'm proud of. We have over 30 of these, what we call ABCs, authorities, boards, and commissions. These are the ethics commissions, airport board, retirement board, tax assessment board, arena board. So there's a lot of these boards and commissions throughout the county that people get put on. In the past, there was no open form. There was no application. It was who you knew, okay? Now, these are all going to be public. You fill out applications to get put on. Last night, we've had 2 interviews, one for the assessment, one for the election board, where we interviewed probably altogether 25 individuals. And now it was done in the public, so the public could see who we're interviewing. And I encourage people to get on our website, find out where the openings are, and fill out the applications if they're interested. And I want to say this around the greater Hazleton area. You know, I got a lot of feedback saying we need representation down here, and we got to make sure we have it. But last night with these interviews, we did not have one person who interviewed from Lower Luzerne County. And
Did
so
they know about them, though?
Well, again, I put out a letter a few months ago. There's another letter recently. It's been in the newspaper. So it is something that we're trying to get people to be aware of. But we can't get people throughout the rest. It's not just Lower Luzerne County, throughout the rest of the county. But so it is up to the individuals now to go out and put their names. But these are very important boards. Again, as I just mentioned, the assessment board. We all know what happened with our reassessments, and it's very important to have people who understand real estate, who have the background and understanding, so people could get fair property values on their homes.
I mean, there are a lot of boards here. Your Ethics Commission, the Airport Board, Retirement Board, Tax Assessment, Election Board. Then these are the existing boards, okay? Board of Assessment area. This is on the website, right?
It's all on the website.
So
it'll tell you where the openings are, when they're going to be opening. Now, there aren't currently openings for all the boards right now.
But you could apply.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm looking for which one I want to be on here. Where's the Marina board? The Arena board. I should be on the Arena board.
Okay, well,
I'm going to have to apply.
You could definitely put your application
because
for that.
Because of my past experience in the Arena board. I should definitely be on that board. So this is great. So people could apply for this now.
Well, again,
and tell you why. And experience. In other words, if they're applying for any of these agencies or commissions or boards, I could, just as I said, if I want to apply for the Arena Board, which I would like, I will tell you why you should.
You put in your application, you put in your resume, you put in your credentials, and the interviews are open. And that's the key to this new government. It's about openness, it's about transparency, and something I've been forcing the hands with others. Again, I kind of took some heat the other day because I kind of forced the rest of the council to release the names. Remember, I was the one individual who fought for home rule, and unlike the others who ran for council, and I'm a true believer that this government is only as good as if the people believe in it. And if the people don't trust this process, forget about it. I mean, you're talking about the manager. So I'm very proud to say that I was the one who took the lead to force the council to say the right thing to do is to release the names of these applicants, not because I thought that the process was faltered, but because of how good of a job we did. And the only way to show that is to be open to the public. And that's what this new government's supposed to be about, openness and transparency, and laying it on the table. I
was going to say that. And I think sometimes there's pros and cons, but this is what we went through. This is why it has to be transparent. Okay, you have to do that because it's not like private enterprise or private corporations where people are applying and they're kept private. This is, the public wants to know, and it has to be transparent.
That's a philosophical difference I've had with some other people. A lot of people say, well, we got to run this like a business. Government is not a business, and that comes from experience. You cannot do those things, and the taxpayers are the shareholders. And so when people say, well, we got to do things in private, again, I'm on the business, on the private sector. I understand you can go in and hire whoever you want, whenever you want, but the public needs to now know, especially after what we've gone through with the corruption scandal with Luzerne County. And you know, as I said before, people didn't support this charter because of what we put in it. They support it because they said, listen, we have to do something else. We have to at least try something. So now we have to prove that this charter is better. And again, I do believe it will be better.
Folks, I'm talking to Rick Morelli. He is on the Luzerne County Council. He was the high vote getter, folks, if you remember. He also is the host of our Inside Scoop. We come back, we got a lot more to talk about the County Council. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, folks. I'm Sam Lesante, SSPTV.com, or email me at sam@ssptv.com. My guest today is Rick Morelli, who is on the Luzerne County Council. Folks, big changes are happening in our county. He was a high vote getter from the southern end here. We're very proud of that. Rick, so as far as you're concerned, I know you can't speak for the 10 other members, but you're definitely not for a tax increase.
No, I can't. Again, I'm very proud of being the high vote getter, but I got that because I went out there and I hustled with my election. I spoke to a lot of people, and as I said before, there's no question that the public feels they've done their job. And there are some council members who feel, well, we all have to work together, and if we put a 2% tax increase on there, it's only $20 on a $100,000 home. But you know as well as I do, with the high percentage of seniors around here who, even though they got a $40 increase in their Social Security, with everything else going up, it means nothing. So we have to be cognizant of that. I think the public feels, hey, listen, we paid our dues, now it's your job to fix this. So I think at the end of the day, my guess will be that there will still be no tax increase based off of the people, but we're still working at that. But there's no question, we need to have cuts, we need to merge and put offices together.
You said, now all the council members out here, just for my own edification, all the council people that are they on for 4 years or some on for 2?
The top 6 vote getters are there for 4. The bottom 5 are on for 2 years.
Okay.
So then every 2 years there'll be another election.
Okay. So you're on for 4. 4
years.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that worked. So here again, so the public, even though they have no direct say with the county manager, they can speak to the board by saying, look, we're not happy, we're getting rid of you.
Yeah, and no question. And you know, something else I'll promote, we have a website, or we have an email, lccm@luzernecounty.org. That's an email that will go to all the council members. So if you have ideas about the budget, if you have concerns, thoughts.
Give me that again. It's www.l.
CCM as in Mary.
Okay, that's Luzerne County Council.
Mary,
okay.
At Luzerne County. At LuzerneCounty.org.
Okay, at LuzerneCounty.org. Okay.
Yeah. So again, that's a way for the public to be able to speak out to us and to talk. And again, this is a way for us to communicate. And the other thing that I've introduced, I'm proud of talking about openness, is we're in the process of looking to have our meetings live via the web. So Luzerne County is a big area. People want to be involved. Before meetings were during the day, you couldn't see, you had to read what's going on in the newspaper. Very shortly, you'll be able to go online live to see what and how we're doing. And again, at a very minimal cost, it's something that we introduced with the study commission, and I asked the council to consider this on our end. So, you know, we're doing our part, and I think we do need more public input as well.
So we have you and we have Elaine Curry representing us from this area here, and the board here. I mean, you have 2 former commissioners, Steve Urban Sr. and Ed Berminski.
Yes.
Okay, but from what I understand and what I can see, we have 11 good board members here.
You have 11 good council members who come from different parts of the county, who have different backgrounds, who have different ideas. I think the voters did a really good job. When you take a look at this election, there were 55 people who ran, and I think that when they came down to 11, they did an excellent job. But again, it's this council that needs to set the tone. We need to make sure that we do things over and above what we've seen in the past. You know, one thing I do want to mention before we leave, and I'm happy to do, we get paid, just so the public knows, we get paid $8,000 a year. That's it, no benefits, $8,000. And again, I stated in my campaign, and I did state publicly, but I'm not taking my salary. I'm taking my salary, I'm giving it to 4 charities that I feel important. And again, I don't think that you have to do a public service to get paid, and I'm not blaming others who do that, but in a tough financial crisis like we're in now, I want to make sure that the taxpayers know that their money is being well spent.
Well, you spend $150,000 on your campaign.
When you're at 11,000. I'm only kidding.
You know, he's 150,000 throwing it all over. But you know, I'm very proud of you, Rick. Really,
thank you.
We're proud of you. You do a good job on the show here, and you know, some may disagree, but the point is, you're honest. You come from a great family. They taught you well, and that's substance is always important. May not agree with everything. You and I had some, you know, we agreed to disagree, just like you and DeLuca did. But however, you guys, you know, are working very well together, and that's good to see.
Exactly. I think that's a great point. As you know, when we were debating the home rule, we were on your show, myself and Vito, and we had opposite ends. But Vito's now our temporary solicitor, and hopefully he'll continue to stay with us. But he's an intelligent guy, and that's the thing about politics. You know, people always say politics is about hiring your friends and family, but what even hurts me more is when people go after individuals because they disagreed, and you can't do that. You got to look at
who's
doing
it
things right.
I always said, if everyone would run that way on just the issues and not take things personal like we have in these small, ridiculous towns that people are not talking to people because of nonsense, I think it's ridiculous. Folks, Rick Morelli, he's the Luzerne County Council. He's on the council, was high vote getter, and he also hosts Inside Scoop. I'm going to lobby to get back on that show. I'm telling you, I'm pushing him. We'll see you next time.